What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Captain America Cold War, the Alpha Issue Part 1. Having both of our Captain America titles crossing over with one another. Most recently, what we saw was Sam Wilson stopping a civil war from happening. He did this with the help of Nomad. The instigator behind all of this was the White Wolf. He was accessing portals from Nomad's childhood home in Dimension Z. They were bringing monsters into the battle, partnering up together with the Resistance leaders to destroy the portal technology and put White Wolf in jail for his crimes. And then not long ago, Steve Rogers had been betrayed by Bucky Barnes. Upon learning that there is a shadow organization called the Outer Circle, these guys have orchestrated the life of Bucky for so very long. They did this in a bid for power known as the Century Game. Bucky has chose to join the Outer Circle as their new revolution to destroy them from the inside. And while he was able to use Steve, Sharon, and Peggy to thwart the Outer Circle invasion of Manhattan, he also indirectly caused the death of Steve's oldest ally, the Destroyer. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we jump into this 6-part event, we are picking up with the White Wolf and Bucky Barnes. As the sirens go off, a chemical threat being threatened on this prison, everyone begins to evacuate. This is giving Bucky the opportunity to let White Wolf out of his cell. He taps into the mainframe and he says voice print ID revolution. This opens up the cage and almost instantly the White Wolf goes on the attack. Having some knives hidden away, he pulls them out and he throws them at Bucky. But Bucky is trying to let him know that he is not here to kill him. Though White Wolf would believe differently, Bucky finds him to be disgusting. Hunter was raised to be the brother of Black Panther, and he has done nothing but try to destroy Wakanda, to destroy everything that Black Panther had built. But right now, there is something that he needs from the White Wolf, and right now, he is willing to trade him that for his freedom. He needs the transmitter. He needs the codes. But for White Wolf freedom, that's simply not enough. Recognizing that he does hold a few cards, he has one condition, and this technology will be Bucky's. What he wants is the throne. The two of them having a handshake, we pick up with Nomad and Steve Rogers. Finally having the opportunity to sit down, to have a discussion. Really, this is an opportunity for them to catch up on each other's lives. And Nomad says that he is a little bit worried about Steve. With Roger dying, with Bucky being gone, there's a lot going on. But Steve does believe that Bucky is doing what is necessary, or at least what he thinks is right. That he is tearing down the Outer Circle from the inside. And he knows that Bucky is lost. But he is no monster. Steve really thought that he could give him a way out. While the two of them have this discussion, that is when we see the crosshairs. Steve grabbing his shield, he quickly pushes Nomad back and then there is a giant explosion. With the Fed going up in flames, we see a Captain America crawling out of the fire. Shield in hand, this is when he sees her. This is when he sees Peggy. A portal opened up behind her, a giant weapon in her hand, and she is dragging Nomad away. Steve trying to figure out what is going on and why she is doing this. She says that the revolution sends his regards, and that she is also a star point, one of the Outer Circle's playthings, just like Bucky has always been. As she pulls Nomad into the portal, it closes up, and Captain America is left here calling up an old friend. That's where we pick up some hours later, and we have him meeting up with Sam Wilson, meeting up with Misty, and meeting up with Sharon. As Sam Wilson begins to give the debriefing, they talk about the White Wolf being released or escaping from prison, and then within the same hour, Nomad had been kidnapped right off the streets of Manhattan. They do have one clue. His friend David had pulled the security footage from across the street. That portal was a Zola gate. That gate only goes to one place, and that is Dimension Z. And Sam knows that somebody else is pulling the strings, that White Wolf isn't doing this alone. That's when Steve chimes in, saying that it is Bucky Barnes. He goes on to explain that they are called the Outer Circle, 5 people with more money than anybody would know what to do with, and they have been influencing global politics since World War I. This symbol, the shield, it all belongs to them. It is their weapon, their star. But when Captain America wasn't malleable enough, they split the job into 5, what they call the Star Points. 5 assassins to shape history, and Bucky was one of them. Now he sits at the table and calls himself the Revolution. And right now Steve can't see the angles that he is playing, allying himself with villains and monsters alike. And he is using Nomad. The only thing Steve is worried about is getting his son back. After doing a little bit more digging, they see that they seem to be held up in Alaska, a militia group that they had dealt with in the past. They seem to be training up there. They had been dispersed, but it looks like somebody has gathered these forces together and they are building an army. This is what takes us over to the White Wolf. It takes us over to Nomad. And right now he is going through some pain. As they take something from his neck, it appears that they are taking his blood. At this point, he is in such confusion on what is truly going on. We see a concoction being made, the genetic keys to the kingdom. This is when White Wolf drinks it. While Nomad may not understand why he is here, the White Wolf knows that he has had the command codes that he has carried in his DNA for all these years. As he drinks this, he ascends to his throne, and he is now in charge of Dimension Z. Zola's blood now flows through the White Wolf, letting it be known that they are going to war. The Dimension Z is about to wage it all. That's what takes us over to Alaska. Every single one of the militiamen all consolidated into 2 armies. The Outer Circle's private military, their private war, overseen by the Shadow Capital, and also a flying saucer overhead, and this looks identical to Captain America's shield. But as they watch this, the ground from underneath them collapses, and they find themselves directly in the middle of this battlefield. And so our heroes begin to rage. They begin to fight. They begin to lay down the hate. As they make their way through the battlefield, we see Captain America just decimating anybody that comes before him, knocking people clean the heck out with single punches. He's throwing dudes left and right. He's beating dudes with other dudes. Captain America is not stopping until he gets his son back. Recognizing that they are hugely outnumbered, Sam gets an idea to smash the ground. As he flies up in the air, he comes down, and both of them knock their shields into the ice at the same time. A giant rumbling, all the ice begins to fall. An avalanche has been created. Sam grabbing hold of Steve and taking him up into the air. It looks like they actually won this fight. That, of course, is until they turn around and they see a portal from Dimension Z open up. The first 2 monsters that step out, one wielding the emblem of the White Wolf and the other of Bucky. As this force begins to descend on the Captain Americas, we see the White Wolf and Bucky having a conversation, and he's telling Bucky really just to enjoy everything that is going on. That if you operate from the shadows, you should learn to enjoy it, because this is the fun part. For Bucky, none of this is fun. This is all about the future. They are crashing the only game that has ever mattered, and this is going to cost him the lives of the only real friends he has ever had. But when both Captain Americas are dead, Bucky won't be smiling, but he will be winning. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, I really wasn't sure if I was going to pick up this comic, but now reading the first alpha, I'm definitely invested. I'm really excited to see what direction this is going to go in. Is this Bucky finally freeing himself? Is he keeping Steve Rogers out of this because he doesn't want him to be implicated in anything he is going to do? Or does Bucky truly have intentions of killing Steve and Sam? Is it an absolute necessity to bring on a better tomorrow? To bring down the Shadow Organization? You know, Steve had said that he can't see the game that Bucky is playing, and that seems to be definitely intentional. He doesn't want Steve to understand. Maybe he needs Steve to continue his assault, to make it look like he's not siding with him, but that he actively is trying to bring him down. From the current perspective, it is really hard to see how Bucky could be doing any good. He has given the keys of leadership over to the White Wolf. Dimension Z is now run by the Wolf, and he has already begun his war. He has already sent the troops onto the battlefield. But this is only the first battle in a very long war. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on so far with this series, go ahead, check out the links in my description as well as the top of this video. We don't have every single issue that is building up to this event covered, but we do have a handful of issues that initially led to this event. So if you want to check that out, be sure to check out the links in my description as well as the top of this video. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.